Good afternoon. My name is John Matthew Hasid, and today I'll be analyzing the story Zlateh the Goat, written by Isaac Bashevis Singer. Additionally, I'm from the group 10 tree, so I hope you guys enjoy. It's Hanukkah time at the village, and it's usually lightly covered in snow. That winter was a mild one, and Hanukkah was yet to come, and yet so little snow had fallen. Basically, this part can tell us the setting that it's during Hanukkah time in a small village, and it can say that the weather, it was already winter, but yet no snow has fallen, so it wasn't dangerous, but you should be precautious. By this, Reuben made a difficult decision to sell Zlata the goat. He made that decision because Zlata was old and just wasn't producing enough milk. Feeble, the town butcher, offered 8 golden for Zlata. That money was going to be used to buy many holiday necessities for the house, including gifts for the children, candles, potatoes, and oil for pancakes. Since someone had to take Zlata to Feeble, Reuben told Aaron to take the goat to town. Leah, Aaron's mother, and his two sisters Anna and Marian were devastated when they heard the news. After that, they started to sob and sobbed. Aaron started to put on his quilted jacket with earmuffs and put on a bound rope around Zlata's neck, and along he brought 2 slices of bread and cheese to eat on the road. Basically, this is the explanation of the first page of the story, the 2 slides, and it basically tells us that there's a conflict between man versus man. Um, it doesn't show in really, like, it doesn't go through deep because Aaron, we can describe him as a good boy, as an obedient son. He takes orders. He doesn't complain, but he didn't agree with the decision. But yet again, he was an obedient son, and that's his personality in the story. But yeah, there was a conflict between man versus man. It doesn't even show that much, but it still was. During the road to Fuel to sell Slata, the weather suddenly changed, and a large black cloud with a bluish center appeared in the east and spread itself rapidly over the sky. Additionally, a cold wind blew in with it. Later, the road was completely covered in snow. Even Aaron realized that in his 12 years, he never seen a weather like this one. When they were trying to escape the dangerous blizzard that were causing them pain, they suddenly made it out of shape of a hill and found a haystack which the snow had blanked. But plus Aaron realized that they were saved. By this, we can realize there's another conflict. It's man versus natural, because the blizzard was affecting them. You know, um, Aaron was beginning to sink during the snow. Slata was getting super cold. She even questioned herself, her ability to trust humans. It was a really hard, difficult time for them. But at least they found a haystack which they could hide. Aaron dug his way through the snow, and when he reached the hay, he hollowed out a nest for himself and Slata. The cold did not bother them because the hay was always warm, and since the food for Slata started to smell him. Oh, sorry. And the hay was food for Slata. And she started to smell it. Sorry for the mispronunciation. Afterwards, she began to eat. Later, they needed air, so Aaron bored a kind of window through the hay and snow. Shortly after, Aaron milked Slata to get hydration because of short food supplies. He took upon himself and saw a glimpse of the chaos that was occurring outside. So basically, they go through the haystack. They started to get ready, started to get their stuff together, and Since the hay was food for Zlata, she was starting to smell it, just check it out, and then she started to eat it. But the hay itself was warm, so it looked like some type of protection, you can say by that. And since Zlata could produce milk, Aaron took upon himself and tried to milk her, and Zlata was comfortable with it. So he used it as right hydration because he had short food supplies. When Aaron and Zlata's relationship started to straighten up, Aaron was cuddling with Zlata and himself considered Zlata as a sister. Not in the so distant time, Aaron felt alone, so he engaged in a conversation with Zlata, even though throughout their short conversation, Zlata could not speak. He figured out that she understood what himself was saying. After they both fell asleep and woke up, Aaron knew that him nor Zlata could go outside because it's too dangerous. Okay, so this means that Aaron's and Slata's relationship was growing deeper and was strengthening each other. Um, they both had a short. Since Aaron was bored and felt alone, he started to have a conversation with Slata, but it was a short one. But Zlata could not speak human, and she only responded with "a man." But but Aaron considered her as a sister too, and Aaron just didn't understand what Zlata was saying, but he thought that Zlata understand what he was saying. I don't know if that makes sense or if you understand it. And next morning, they was trying to check outside. No, not next morning. Aaron just checked outside, and it was too dangerous, and they just couldn't go out. It was too dangerous. The blizzard was too big. So they stay in the haystack for 3 days. And like I said earlier, the bond grew and grew every single time at a level that their love overcame those miserable times that they were currently having in the haystack. Afterwards, Aaron told stories to Slata that included his family, and by the third night, Aaron realized that the blizzard had stopped. And it was a mildly cleared, but since it was nighttime, by then he did not want to danger himself nor Slata. Next morning, Aaron heard the ringing of sleigh bells that belonged to a peasant. That same peasant directed him the way back to his beloved home. Later, Aaron decided never to give up on Slata the goat. So, basically, like I said earlier, their relationship was getting really deeper, really deeper. It was getting really deeper, and and during those times, Slata, and Aaron still had their moments. Aaron told stories to Slata about his family, and during nighttime, like I said, he checked through the little window they had, and it was too dangerous. But in that fourth morning, he got out. He checked it out. He checked the roads and everything, and it all looked good. But they didn't know the way back. But sorry, the road was covered in snow, but they didn't know the way. They didn't know the way back. But they heard sleigh bells like a slate, and it was a peasant. So that same peasant pointed the way home, not to Fuel, not to other places, but his hometown. And then from those days on, from those moments on, Aaron decided never to give up on Slaughter the goat. While Slata and Aaron were on their way home, in the meantime, Aaron's family and neighbors were searching for them both, but they could not find anything. They all feared that something bad had happened, so Aaron's mom and sisters cried for him, while his dad remained silent and gloomy. Suddenly, one of the neighbors came running to their house with news involving Aaron and Slata. They said that they were coming up on the road. and that brought great joy to their faces. Later, when they reunited once again, Aaron explained to the family how he and Zlateh survived in the haystack and the fact that Zlateh gave him milk. And by the end of the story, the family never thought of selling Zlateh, and the memories of Zlateh and Aaron in those crucial but yet heartwarming moments will never perish. So, this was the end of the story. Basically their Aaron's family was searching for him and their neighbors too, but they couldn't find anything. We could see a lot of character development by this point. We can see that uh Aaron's father wasn't very sentimental. Well, he was sentimental, but he didn't show it. We can say he's a hard person, but he still cared about his son. He never meant bad impressions. We can see Aaron's family, his sisters and mom were really worried. We can see that. Well, we can see a little character development too, they're having a meaningful part in the story. We could see how much they cared about them, and by the end of the story, everything was going really smooth. And I'm sorry, and Slata and Aaron, they started to have this little conversation about their times in the in the haystack. That's why I was saying that. That's why I refer as those crucial moments, but yet heartwarming moments will never perish. Now let's get to the plot. The story is constructed around a boy named Aaron and a goat named Slata. Their paths begin when Aaron's father Reuben, the furrier, sells Slata the goat to Fubal, the town's butcher, for 8 golden that he can provide supplies for Hanukkah. Afterwards, Reuben sends Aaron to Fubal, but that's where the real story begins, as they both come upon a mighty blizzard and try to survive days with what they can find. The setting. The setting basically is in a small village during Hanukkah time, and it explains that the weather was simply a mild one. The characters. Aaron was a boy, son of Reuben and Leah. Like I said, he was an obedient boy. He was 12 years old. He was really young, and he was an obedient boy. And Slata was a goat. She was, by the story at the first, she wasn't. It says that she wasn't producing enough milk, but she we can consider her as a important. She's a important and crucial character in the story, because she could provide food provide hydration for Aaron. I can say that the goat was gonna be sold for 8 golden, and and I can say that she was loyal to humans. She was a loyal character in the story, and Aaron and Slata's relationship was growing really, really deep during the story. There was a lot of character development. Um, Reuben was Aaron's father. We can describe him as a strict but yet heartwarming person in the inside. He sold Slata to Fubal for 8 golden because he needed to provide for his family. They were in the best economic structure, and Fubal was the town's butcher. He was gonna buy Slata for 8 golden, like I said, for to provide to help Reuven with his family. And there's not too much description there. He wasn't named during the story. He didn't appear during the story. He was just a person that we didn't get to see. We didn't get to experience. So, and Leah was Aaron's mother. We could see her right here. Like I said, she didn't have that much of a character impact in the story. She was just a really big secondary character. Um, um, we can say that Leah was a heartwarming person. She cared about Aaron's health. She was really worried during the story. when he went out and when they were searching for him. And Anna and Miriam, as we can see, these both characters right here, were Aaron's sister. Not much of an impact in the story, like I said, and they were heartwarming persons, just like Aaron's mother, Leah, and their mother. The conflicts. The conflicts we could see in the story was man versus man. When it wasn't that big of a deal, it wasn't a big a deal, like because Aaron was obedient, so he literally just went with it. But he was unsure. We could see and we could feel that story. He was unsure about the decision, but he had no choice. And yeah, we can describe that as man versus man. Reuben and versus Aaron. The other big there's another conflict, and it's a big one. The it's basically the story. It's the impact of the story. It's man versus nature. Um, it's when Zlateh and Aaron, no, Aaron and Zlateh were coming up the road, and the blizzard appeared, and then come upon crucial days, crucial days, but yet heartwarming ones. The rising action. The rise in action started when Reuben has decided to sell Zlata to Fubel for 8 golden, to later Reuben ordering Aaron to take Zlata to the paying customer. So this is basically, as we said at the beginning of the story, Reuben sells Zlata for 8 golden to provide for his family, and and Reuben ordered Aaron to take Zlata to Fubel. The climax. It takes when the mild weather have converted itself to a powerful blizzard that led Aaron and Slata to a difficult situation and in search for a safe place. Basically, it's when the blizzard appears and Aaron and Slata had to get out of the hill, and they had to hide for the haystack for approximately 3 days. The following action. The following takes place after the blizzard stops. By the fourth day, Aaron and Slata found their way home with some help. Basically, this explains the part when the blizzard was stopping a little. It was calming down. By the third day, the blizzard had stopped, but it was nighttime. So, but Aaron and Slata did not go because it could have been dangerous. So they decided by the next morning, the fourth day, they saw everything was clear and they needed to get themselves home. So with the help of a peasant, because they heard some sleigh bells, they got on their way home. Now, the author of the story and the guy who written it, Isaac Bashevis Singer. Isaac Bashevis Singer was a Jewish writer born on November 21, 1992. Not 1902. I'm sorry. In Leoncing, Poland, but later died on July 1991 in Surfside, Florida, and he was awarded with a Nobel Prize in Literature in 1978. So basically, this person first started writing during wars. We can see some of his stories are based on wars, as we can see. I cannot remember the name of the story. Forget me for that mistake. But during his career, he had a big impact on his older. He had a big impact because of his older brother. He died, but that had a big impact in his life. And around his whole career, he had like approximately more than 28 books. So he was definitely a good writer, even though his start of his career with fictional books wasn't that popular, but yet he come out of those trials and he became one of the greats to ever write. So um this is the end. I hope you guys enjoyed the PowerPoint presentation. I know it was kind of rocky because of the pronunciation and everything, but um I hope you guys still liked it, and I hope you guys have a great day.